So I graduated when I was 51, and I started my internship, and I became independently licensed at 53 and a half, right? Like, so
That's pretty
my
good.
goal was delayed by 3.5 years. Who cares? You're already old anyway. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's like, I think that when we have these goals, it's like there are challenges in life that it's like I think it comes to show you how bad you want it.
You are listening to the Midlife with Courage podcast. Each week, women in midlife come for inspiration, motivation, and sometimes a little education to help them flourish after 40. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Midlife with Courage. I am Kim Benoit, your host. I'm so happy to have you all here. I'm also very happy to have my guest here with me today. Her name is Zulma Williams, and you are a licensed clinical social worker, mental health therapist, and we're going to talk about that. But welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
I can tell this is going to be a good conversation already. We're already laughing.
We're going to
This
have
is good.
fun. We are going to have fun.
Yes, we are. Well, why don't you just, Zulma, tell us a little bit more about where you are in the world and what you're doing?
Sure. I am currently living in Henderson, Nevada. It's close to Las Vegas, where all the craziness is. Beautiful, beautiful, but it's already hot in here, and the summers here are brutal. So, but I came from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I moved to the United States when I was 31, a long, long time ago. And currently I am in private practice doing mental health for adults who experience anxiety, trauma, and depression.
Okay, important things that you are doing. Before we talk more about that, I always like to ask for the guest to share a time in your life when you felt courageous or you showed courage.
Sure. Can I use two times?
Sure.
I couldn't decide.
Go for it.
Do
whatever
they're
you
like
want.
very tight. They're very tight. So one time was when I did skydiving. That was an experience. Like, it was amazing, but it took a lot of courage. And another time, more kind of like getting into different ways of showing courage, was when I walked out of a job where I was being abused. So I think that took a lot of courage too, in a different environment, right? Like, so two different situations, but it took a lot of courage in both of them, because putting myself first, to where like I'm not going to put up with this abuse anymore, was very courageous. At the time I was like, well, I'm not doing this anymore, but looking back, I'm like, oh, that took a lot of courage.
Isn't that funny how it is kind of funny when we look back and go, wow, I did that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And jumping out an airplane too, that is one thing I will never do, but good for you.
Never say never. You don't know. Never say never. I mean, it is a great experience. You have 60 seconds of free fall, and it's like, oh my God, I'm flying. And then, then you're like, but it's a beautiful experience. I would recommend to everybody to at least do it once. Like, I did it with a friend. She did it again in Switzerland, and I'm like, okay, you are my hero. I'm sure I'm not going to do it again, but it was a great experience.
Okay, well, maybe we'll put a maybe in there. Just so
okay.
Let's start. Can we start where you came to America at age 31? What was that like?
It was such an adventure. So I was 31, living with my mom because I didn't have a job. The socioeconomic situation in Argentina, still to this day, that was 30 years ago, still to this day, is very complicated. And I was like, okay, I don't have a job, I don't have family, like my own family, right? Like a partner or children. And I was like, you know what? When you have nothing, you have nothing to lose. So coming to America was a dream that I had since I was a teenager. And I was like, if I don't do it now, when? So I came, it was December of 1996. So I step out of the plane, and it's like stepping into a movie, right? Like all the Christmas lights. I was like, oh just like in the movies. Then reality set up pretty quick. But the first couple of weeks, I was like, oh my God, like I was mesmerized by the decorations and the Christmas spirit and all those things. So we have the opposite season. So here we are in winter, over there is summer. So it's completely different, right? Like it makes sense why Santa Claus is all covered up, right? And over there it's like it's 300 degrees and Santa Claus is all covered up. Right?
He's wearing shorts.
So we are copying from the States. But for certain, it was a cultural shock. I didn't speak the language. I knew how to read and write because I had English in high school, but it was very difficult to communicate verbally because we didn't have that practice. But I loved it. I think that I was it was a dream coming true. So although it wasn't easy per se, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make this work. Like, I really, really like it in here. And at the time I was in California, I had an uncle and his family living there. So that's where I went. But then I met another cousin and he was living by the beach. So I used to leave work and then go to the beach and see the sunset and then go home. I'm like, what is this? Like, I love this life.
This is great.
Right. So, I mean, I remember like where my uncle lived, it was a Hispanic neighborhood. And I was going to school to do English as second language, but it was kind of like the same that I did in Argentina, a lot of writing and reading, but not so much talking. And then I moved into a white neighborhood. So my first words were like, more slowly, please. Because I don't understand what you want. You know what I mean? Like, so can you talk like, we have a tendency to speak very fast in our first language. So I was like, more slowly, please,
more
like
slowly,
so,
please, yeah.
And then I started I started speaking because I had to. It was hard for people to understand me at the beginning, but I had the luck, if you would, that people were very patient because they were appreciating that I was doing the effort of trying to speak the language. And really, if you want to help me, you can, right? Like, what I'm trying to say, even if I'm not saying perfectly, right? Like, so kind of like when you're a kid and you don't speak fluently, right? Like, but we know what the kid is saying. So I had both, but most of the people were trying to help. And then I had people who were bullying me and saying like, no, you don't say like that, you say like this. And then eventually I was like, can you read the book in Spanish? No, okay. And I drop the mic and I leave, right? Because it's like, come on, meet me halfway, right? Yeah. Like, if you want to speak Spanish to me, I don't have to be the teacher saying, oh, that is wrong. Like, I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Just be nice, be kind, be nice.
Yeah.
So, but I had more people who were nice and accommodating, but I did have a lot of bullying because of my accent. But it's like, okay, well, here I am, and now I'm doing podcasts. Who knew, right? Like,
who knew? So there.
Right, that. Exactly. So when I started school, like I talked to a professor because participation was big part of the grade, and I spoke to him privately and I said, I'm ashamed of participating. I want to participate, but I'm ashamed of the way that I speak. And he grabbed a book. It was biology, and I didn't like it. Like, biology was like so hard for me. But he grabbed a book and he was like, okay, read this and then read this and read this and this. I don't hear anything wrong with that, so I want you to participate. And bless him, because if it wasn't for him saying that, I don't know how my career would have gone, right?
Sure.
It was a very hard class, but the professor made it like I wanted to participate.
Nice.
So we never know the extent of our kindness, how it's going to affect another person. Because if he would have been like, no, you don't say like that or whatever, like I probably would have not participated not only in his class, but in any of the other classes, right? Like,
Right.
so I came here at 31, and then let's fast forward because I know we have limited time.
Yeah.
At 42, I was working in a corporation in accounting, and being a therapist was another dream of mine. I had people coming to me all my life sharing stuff that they said, "Oh, I never said this to anybody," and I was like, "Oh, maybe I can start charging for this," right? And so I start reflecting, like, I love accounting, I love numbers, they're so black and white, and I'm good at doing, I was doing accounts payable at the time.
Mhm.
And I was like, I really like this, but I was reflecting, like, do I want to do this for another 25 years?
Mhm.
And I was like, I think it's time that I go for my dream of being a therapist. So I started my Bachelor of Social Work at 42.
Wow.
And so I continued to work in accounting while I was going to class. And I think that it's important for people to know that in order to build something, you don't need to destroy. Like, some people are like so black and white, like, oh, well, if I'm going to do that, then I cannot be doing this. No, I still needed to pay bills while I
Right.
was going to school, right? Like, so I wasn't a therapist yet. So I continue to do accounting while at the same time I was building in parallel a different future,
Sure.
right? And it's always, you don't know if it's going to work out, but if it didn't work, being a therapist didn't work out, I can always go back to doing accounting.
Right.
Nobody's think like, my brain make room for the social work. Like, it's not like, okay, we're gonna erase the accounting. It's like, no, I know both. So it's like, if this doesn't work out, I can always go back and do accounting, right? Like, so I graduated at 46, and I was on track to start my master's. And I graduated in December of 2011. And then 6 weeks later, I got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to be independently licensed by age 50. And God had other plans, clearly. So I was like, okay, well, let me take care of my health. I moved back to Argentina. I had surgery and radiation here, but I moved back to Argentina. And then 3 years later, I was over there. And I was like, I wanted to celebrate my 50th birthday here in America.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to move back. And I asked God for a sign, and careful what you ask for. So, when you are at the university, you get a university email as a student, right? But because I was inactive for 3 years, my email wasn't active anymore. I got an email from University of Nevada, Las Vegas. That's where I graduated with my bachelor's, to my personal email saying, hey, we have the Master of Social Work Advanced Program back, because when I graduated, they removed the advanced program. So they were like, we have it back. Do you want to enroll? And I was like, wow, be careful what you ask for.
There's your sign.
I actually signed, God gave me a banner, like, so I was like, yes, and I submitted everything, and I moved back in May of 2015. My birthday is in June. So I started my master's 1 month short of, at 49, 11 months and 3 weeks, right? Like, I was almost 50 when I started my master's. And I celebrated my 50th birthday here. I'm on track to celebrate my 60th birthday this year. And it's like, if anything, cancer came to show me how bad I wanted to be a therapist, because it didn't stop me, it delayed me, right?
Oh, yeah. It didn't stop you, it just delayed you.
Like, if I would have said, giving up, like, oh, okay, I had cancer, I'm not going to go for my master's, like, nobody would have blamed me.
Right. But you would have known.
But I would have known, right? Like, so I was like, okay, I'm feeling better. You know, at the beginning, the treatment is very intensive. Like I was going to the hospital every 3 weeks and all that. But then after 3 years, you're more like in a maintenance stage.
Mm-hmm.
So what is stopping me from going back and finishing, like going for my master's?
Yeah.
So I graduated when I was 51, and I started my internship, and I became independently licensed at 53 and a half, right? Like, so
That's pretty
my
good.
goal was delayed by 3.5 years. Who cares? You're already old anyway. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you know, it's like, I think that when we have these goals, it's like there are challenges in life that it's like, I think it comes to show you how bad you want it.
Mm. That's interesting. That's such a great point. Yeah. It shows you how bad you want it. That's so smart.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right? That's definitely a way to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I have clients who tell me like, oh, I'm too old to go back to school, I'm like, you're
Mm-hmm.
barking at the wrong tree. I was 50, and English is not my first language. What is your excuse?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me I have this saying, you probably are gonna bleep it out, but it's like, don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. Right?
I
Like,
say that a lot.
oh, okay. But because it's like, just tell me that you are not as passionate about this particular goal. But it's not like it's not possible, because I did it.
Yeah, right. You did it. Oh my gosh. So, what is it about therapy that you wanted to do? I know you said people just naturally came to you. Why did you think, you know what, I want to keep doing this?
I think I have a gift that I hear what is not said.
Oh.
And my role as a therapist is to provide you with a different perspective, right? When you are in the picture, you cannot see the picture.
Mm-hmm.
So by people naturally feeling comfortable sharing stuff, I will say, before I had the training, right? I will say things back that to me are common sense, right? Like, oh, I cannot sleep because I watched the 10 p.m. news. Then don't watch the 10 p.m. news. You know what I mean? Like,
Hello.
right? Like, but it's like, so, to me, that's common sense. But I found out that when I say it, people are like, oh, right? Kind of like they need this permission, if you would, to
Yeah, yeah.
do things, right? Like, so to quit that job, or to become more assertive when communicating, or setting boundaries, or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that with this gift of, like, listening to what is not being said, when I give it back to you and I said, have to consider blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, like you said before, oh, I never thought of it that way, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a different perspective. And then it's like, I I don't know what the truth is. I'm giving you my truth as I see it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but I'm the therapist, but you are the expert in your own life.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
are doing this together.
Yeah. You're there to help them kind of figure things out or figure their truth. Sometimes do you think it's they already know what needs to happen or they know what they need to do, but they just need you or someone else to just point it
I
out or
think so.
say it?
I think that deep down you know what you need to do, but you, again, like, you need that permission,
Yeah.
or that authorization from someone from the outside to be like, oh, well, the therapist said, right? Like, so, but my role as a therapist is to help you find your own answers. I barely know what to do with my life, let alone to tell you what to do with yours. You know what I mean? Like, so, but we are going to find the answers together.
Yeah.
So I always say, like, we are in a car, you are on the driver's seat, I'm on the passenger seat, I'm on the GPS. But if
Mhm.
you don't turn the ignition on, we are not moving. We're not
Right.
going anywhere. You are
Yeah.
doing the work. I'm saying like, oh, okay, would you consider this, or would you consider that, or this has worked for other people, or this has worked in my own life, right? Like,
Yeah.
But you are the one who's going to move the car, not me. Like the GPS, it tells you where to go, but if you're not driving, you're going to stay in the same place.
Yeah, it'll just sit there and be quiet.
Right. So I think that is my role, is to help you find your own answers.
Mm-hmm.
So because what my reality is, I don't like, is completely different than yours. So again, like if we join forces with your own expertise in your own life and my expertise on number one being old and number two having formal education, it's kind of like we meet in the middle and we work together at this. But I always say, like, the one who is working hard at this is you. Like I say, okay, go west and turn whatever, and I don't do that because I don't know that I will say, like, go straight and then turn right.
That's
like,
me too. Don't give me northwest.
Right. But if you are not driving, you're not going to get there. So it doesn't matter what I say if you don't apply it. So I give a lot of homework because I use, one of the main techniques that I use is cognitive behavioral therapy. And it involves a lot of homework, right? Like, so for example, if you are anxious, I'll say, take a deep breath and use a grounding technique, and teach you what a grounding technique is. So guess what the homework for the week is? For you to take a deep breath and use a grounding technique. So you come back and I ask you, did you use the deep breathing and the grounding techniques? No. Okay, well, guess what the homework is going to be for this week? The same thing.
The same
because thing. I don't know if it's going to work for you if you don't try it.
Right.
So if you try it and it doesn't work for you, okay, fine, I'll give you a different tool. But if this works, why are we going to go to the more complicated stuff if simply taking a deep breath and describing something visually reduces your anxiety in the moment? Hello. So it's like, but we are not wired that way. So you do have to think, when you're feeling the anxiety, you need to remember to use that deep breath, right?
Yeah.
Because naturally you are not going to. So let me take that deep breath and then let me use a grounding technique. Well, it works. How do I know? Because I use it, right? Yeah. But if you don't practice it and then you tell me I'm still anxious, like, well, I'm giving you the tools, but if you're not using them, they're not going to work for you, right? Like, so, and then it might not work for you, but at least you try it, so we know that it doesn't work. Okay, let's try this other thing, right? Like, so we start from less to more complicated, right? Like, so if the less complicated stuff, the easy stuff works, why are we going to make it complicated? Use the easy stuff, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like when you take your car to the mechanic and they tried this, but that wasn't the problem, so they try something else, but that wasn't the. We are testing too. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. It works for 99.9% of the population, including me. But if you don't try it, how are you going to know if it works for you or not?
Right. Sometimes I think, well, I know we want a quick fix to everything. And that's led us down some paths we shouldn't have been taking with our health, basically. But, we have to do the work to get some of these things better.
Absolutely. And therapy is such hard work, and it's not pretty. I always say therapy is to the mind as the gym is to the physical health, right? Like, you go to the gym to prevent a heart attack, hopefully, right? Like, you don't wait until you have the heart attack to start exercising. Right. You know that exercising is good for you. So you don't have to have a crisis to go to therapy. Sometimes we need that neutral person giving you a different perspective.
Sure.
So the stigma of like, oh, you're going to therapy, you're crazy. Thank God it's not as prevalent now, but it's still there. Like, why do I have to talk to a stranger about my issues? Because it's a stranger, exactly. So it's not, I'm not involved in your situation. So I can give you a different perspective. Well, I talked to my friend. Your friend is unconditionally by your side.
Yep.
Because your friend loves you and your friend hates you suffering.
Right.
I'll hate that you are suffering too, but I will point out the part where you're accountable so that you can change that part and stop it. So let's say that your partner was unfaithful. Okay, we are going to put the responsibility on the partner, but also I'm going to help you understand the pattern of why are you attracting unfaithful partners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? A friend will not do that. A friend will be like, oh yeah, just leave him. Okay, leave him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that. You're going to come to that conclusion yourself, but I'm going to kind of like guide you into like, okay, so I will ask you like, okay, why do you want to stay in this relationship if you are not being respected, right? Like, I'm not telling you to leave, but I'm going to kind of like help you come to your own conclusions that, oh, this might not be the best relationship for me, right? Yeah. But then if it's not this partner, it was the prior partner, and okay, then there's a pattern. Right. And that's where I'm going to help you understand where is this coming from. And then you are going to modify, like if you don't like that, then you're going to modify that pattern. Sure. Right? Right. It's the same. It's kind of like a conversation like we are having right now, but it's like it's going to go a lot deeper than that. And that's when it's not pretty. When you start discovering that you might have been verbally abused when you were a child, or emotionally abused, or financially abused by a partner, and you're like, oh my God, like, and I didn't even realize it and all that. But the first step to change something is to be able to see it. Right? If you don't recognize that you have a problem, you cannot change it. So in that sense, like when you go to the gym after you haven't exercised for a while, you are in pain the next day. You're like, oh my God, like I cannot walk, blah, blah, blah. So if you give up, you're never going to get stronger. Right. So in therapy, it's the same. When it gets ugly at the beginning. And at the gym, it gets ugly. Like you don't exercise 3 times a week, and then in a week you go to the scale to see how many pounds you lost. Like you had to keep at it, right? Right, right. And therapy is the same. Like you are changing these patterns, but first you have to discover them. And once we are looking at the pattern in the face, like, wow, and I didn't know this. But that's okay. You didn't know before. So now you know. So now you can make a different decision from the decisions that you were making before, because when you know better, you do better. For sure. Right? Yeah. So it gets ugly, but if you give up when it's ugly, it's like it's kind of like stopping going to the gym because your legs hurt because you were working on your legs. Well, then your legs are never going to get stronger, right? Like
eventually they won't hurt, but you have to keep doing it.
Right. So you keep pushing through the pain, and then eventually you become stronger, and it's not as bad. So always say, like, if you want to build a house, you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you buy the materials and you buy the tools and you start building. Well, if you want to build a new life, I'll take you on a shopping spree for your mind, and I'll show you the tools and I'll show you how to do it, but I won't do it for you. Right. Right. You had to do it yourself. So if you want to hang a picture, I'll show you the nails and I'll show you the hammer and I'll show you how to use it. But you have to grab it and do it, because if I don't, next time that you want to hang a picture, you're going to need me. Right. Right. So exactly, you do it and then you're like, oh, I know how to hang a picture. So next time that you need to hang a picture, you don't need Zulma anymore. You do it yourself. Yep. And that doesn't mean that you keep the hammer in your purse. Like you leave the hammer in the garage, but you know where is it and what it is for.
Right. Oh, I love that analogy. Yeah, that's great.
So it's like, okay, no, I don't need to carry the hammer in my purse and break my back, but I leave it in the garage. And next time I need to hang a picture, I know how to do it in an easier way. If you want to put the nail with your hand, you can, but you are going to hurt your fingers, right?
Yep.
And that's why you don't, like I always say, you don't need, you know how to do these things. But if you can do it in an easier manner and spending less energy, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You said you were 42 when you started your social work degree. Do you think that make you a better social worker or better therapist because you've got life experience behind you? You went through the cancer and all that.
I think so. And I think that simply because, like, so I have my classmates were 25, right? For my master's, let's say. Like, I remember I had two classmates. One was 23 and one was 27. And I say, it takes the two of you to make up my age.
They're babies.
Right? Right. So I'm like, but yes, a lot of the things that we were reading in the textbook, I experienced it myself.
Yeah.
And also coming from a different culture. So not only I speak Spanish, but I know the Hispanic culture.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that I'm able to relate to people on a different level because it's like, I get you. You know that I know. You figure that I know that women in the Hispanic culture don't have a voice. So when you are telling me that your husband said, no, you cannot do that, I know what you're coming from.
Right.
Because my therapist, she is from the United States. And I remember telling her something and she was like, why? And I was like, what do you mean why? Like in a situation, I don't remember it was exactly like that, but it's something similar to that.
Yeah.
So you can tell the cultural difference because I had to explain to her that whatever my brother says goes because he's a firstborn and he's a man in the family, right? Like she was looking at me like, so, right? Like and I'm like, no, you like, you know, my mom will do whatever my brother said because my brother said it. Right. Like, so I bring that to my office, and also having experienced traumatic events in my life, I can connect with your trauma on a different level because it's like, you don't have to have cancer for me to know that having that diagnosis changed your life, because my diagnosis changed my life, right? Sure. Can you learn it in the books? Of course, but it's like it's a different type of connection when I have something similar. I had a diagnosis that changed my life. Again, it doesn't have to be cancer, but the diagnosis changed my life. So if you are diagnosed with diabetes and now you had to change your entire life, but I understand the trauma that you are going through because now your life is upside down. Right. So I think that being older, and also it gave me, I think that professors do appreciate older students because they know you are there because you want to, right? Like,
yeah.
Like I read every word in the chapter. I did all the homework. You know what I mean? Because I'm paying for it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know the value of it.
Right. So I had in my bachelor's, I had a classmate, I think he was 20, maybe fresh out of high school, you know, and he was like, can I see your notes? We were having a test. And I said, why didn't you make your own? He said, I didn't have time. Excuse me, I work full-time and I go to school full-time. What you mean you didn't have time?
Oh, he said the wrong 20, thing.
Yeah, you know, like, so the professors know you are there because you really want this. And once I graduated and I started my internship, so to be independently licensed, you had to complete 3,000 hours of 2,000 hours of direct therapy and 1,000 of other, and then pass a test and all that. But when I was an intern, I will have people come in and I will say, like, let's say that the client said, oh, I'm having issues with my son and blah, blah, blah. So I will give a suggestion and they will not question it. But I had another intern, she was 25 and she looked 13. So that didn't help her, right?
No,
and in the same situation, the client will say, like, do you have children? Right? Like, who are you to tell me what to do?
Oh, sure.
I don't have children. They will have asked me, I will tell the truth. Yeah. But they assume because I'm old, I already have children. Yeah. But that's your assumption, like, Yeah. So, but they will question her on the same thing that I might say, being an intern also.
Right.
And I wouldn't be questioned, but she would. Right?
Yeah.
And we are saying the same thing. So it kind of like helped me with the adults, but it presented as a barrier with the children and the teenagers, right? Because like I'm like, I don't know what Fortnite is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, but in order to connect with them, because the first year of my internship, I worked with children in foster care, a lot of trauma. And then the rest of my internship, I worked mostly with adults. But with the children, like I will ask them, tell me about it. Like, because I don't know, like I had a kid who was 13 at the time and he wanted to be a rapper. Ask me if I listen, like I don't understand. It's not my cup of tea. So I said, listen, I'm old, but I want to learn. Like, tell me about what is it that attracts you from this music? What is it that you want to express? And he was looking at me like, but it was true. Like, I'm like, okay, teach me. Don't discard me. Tell me, right? And then if I don't like it or I don't understand it or whatever, then we go from there. But don't shun me away simply because I'm old, right? Like, so I will connect with it represented a barrier with the teenagers, but I will connect with the parents. So I'm listening to the kid, what the child is saying, and then I will kind of like translate for the parent in front of the kid. I never did it behind the kid's back. So we are all on the same page.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I'm not. So then guess what's going to happen next week? I'll bring you and your parent and I ask if you did the homework.
Right.
Hello.
Accountability.
Right. Exactly. So that was my style of doing therapy with the children. But now in my private practice, I'm only seeing adults because my style is very direct. And I'm very proud of myself for keeping it clean so far. But I'm just swearing therapist, right?
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Right. So I am, I'm going to say it as I see it. So I'm very, very direct in that sense. And now a lot of times with children, they are being forced to be there. So I'm not the therapist for you. If you don't want to work, I'm not the therapist for you. So like when I do the consultation call with a potential client, I'm like, do you want to get better? Because that's what we're going to be doing. Like, I'm not holding your hand, help you decide if you want to get better. By the time you come to me, you have to be ready to get better. Right. Because that's what we're going to do. And then, because therapy is a lot of work by itself. And then if you're not even inspired to do better for you, I'm not going to do it for you.
Right. That's just a waste of time and money.
And it's your money. Because I don't take insurance. So it's like, why do you want to waste your time and money?
Yeah.
Now, if you think you're ready and then you realize that you are not, that's a different story.
Right.
But if you're coming to me because your wife was telling you like you need therapy, and then you come to me because she said, but you don't recognize what you need to work on, I'm not the therapist for you.
Right.
And we're going to find out pretty quick, because again, like if you're not doing the homework, I'm going to be like, do you want to get better? I cannot want this for you more than you do.
Yeah, exactly.
You work with potential. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I wish I could. I see your potential, and we're going to exploit that. Yeah. But if you don't do it, I cannot do it for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Zulma, we talked offline before we started that you are the swearing therapist.
Yes.
And you said, I will be very good. I will try not to swear while we talk. So what is that all about? I mean, you kind of alluded to it just now. You're very direct, and I can see that kind of correlates.
Right. So I'm gonna say the F word. I'm not gonna say fudge. I'm gonna say the other word, right? And when we are having the consultation, those words are gonna come out of my mouth. So if you have a problem with me swearing, I'm not the therapist for you. And I understand that. I still sleep at night. Like I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So I will give you referrals, right? I want you to be comfortable. So when I'm saying something, I'm like, oh, fudge. That's not me. I'm gonna say the other word. You know what I mean? Like, or the B word, right? Like I use that word a lot, and I'm not even referring to you. I just use it as a term of endearment. But it's like, so if you see my Instagram videos, on my own podcast, because it's my own podcast. So it's like, okay, it's called Keeping It Real, because it's like, I'm keeping it real. That is my way of keeping it real. Yeah. That doesn't mean that your way is not real. It's just a different manner. Yeah. But once I went into private practice, I was like, I'm going to do it my way, because this is who I am. And I think that the clients that I connect with, they do appreciate that I'm telling you like I see. Again, I'm not telling it like it is. I'm telling it like I see it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't own the truth. That's why I'm like, I don't know what the truth is. But I'm sharing what I see. And in sharing that, I'm being very honest with what I see. Now, I might be wrong, but I'm not wrong in the sense of like, I'm telling you what I'm seeing. Now, that might not be it, and then we can discuss it. But it's not like I'm telling you, I'm seeing something and I'm telling you another thing, and life is too short. I don't have time to be sugarcoating stuff. Right. Right. And I do it from a place of time is of the essence, because this is your time and it's your money. Like nobody has tomorrow guaranteed. Why wouldn't you want to get better? But if you don't want to get better, that's fine. But I'm not the therapist for you. Right. I have a lot of other therapists that will hold your hand until you get ready to get better. Yeah. That's fine. That's not my style. So it's like swearing is kind of like my way of communicating and keeping it real. Yeah. So it's like, okay, and I tell my clients, like, I hope by this time you already know that I'm not going to be like sugarcoating and stuff. And they're like, no, I know. Yeah. And I like that. I'm like, okay. And then also it gives the client permission to swear too, right? Because yesterday I had a new client and he said, and I love that you swear. Because I always ask, do you feel comfortable working with me? Blah. He said, I love that you swear. And I'm like, okay, let's do it, so because I'm swearing first, it's kind of like giving you permission, right? Yeah, again, that opening the door to show maybe who you truly are, but maybe you cannot sweat at work because it will cost you your job, right? So, and then you come to my office, and I don't want you to be thinking like, how are you gonna say something? Like, say it. Just say it. Yeah. Right. If you cannot be yourself in my office, what are we doing, right?
Just cut right to it and connect and just do that. Yeah. Do you find that women, since the people that are listening to this are probably women over 35, 40, I would think that they would appreciate that because everything you said, life's too short to mess around. Tell it like it is, just come on, let's just be real. Like you said, keeping it real.
Right. And I have clients telling me like, oh my God, like I never had a therapist talk to me like this. And I was like, you didn't? I don't know any other way. When I started therapy with my therapist, I said I was swearing and I said, that's how I talk. She said, no, that's fine. I'm like, good. Because if it wasn't fine, like,
Yeah,
I will find another therapist.
Yeah.
But it's like she doesn't swear as much as I do, my therapist. But I was like, it never got my attention. Now that I'm on the other side, I'm like, I wonder what is she thinking, in our sessions. But it's like, it's my style. And again, like, you don't have to like it. I'm not the only therapist. Like, if you call me or you come and it's not working out for you, here I refer. Like, I want you to get better. It doesn't have to be with me.
Right. I love that. That's amazing.
So
yeah, I wish more people had that attitude. But, yeah.
Right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, so I feel like we could just keep going here, but you said you have a podcast, Keeping It Real, you said? And
Keeping It Real with Zulma, the swearing therapist. Yeah.
Okay. And that's on Apple and all the places. So, okay. So check that out. Where else would you like people to find you if they're more interested in talking with you, or maybe they would like to work with you?
So I'm licensed in Nevada, so the client needs to be in the state of Nevada only. But if the listener is in another state, still reach out to me and I'll provide with resources to the best of my ability. My Instagram at the swearing therapist will be a good place to start.
Okay. We'll put that on there on the show notes for them and the podcast link. I love that. There's just something about being able to swear sometimes. Like it's like a release sometimes,
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Swearing is like crying. Like, it's such a great release. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, girlfriend, if you don't cry in my office, when are you going to cry?
Right.
This is the place for it.
This is the time to do it. Well, before we say goodbye, which I hate to do because this has been fun, is there one last little bit of maybe advice or maybe something we didn't get to cover that you want to share with the listeners?
Absolutely. If you woke up today, that means that your mission in life is not completed. You had 100% track record of being successful at overcoming challenges. How do I know? Because you're here. So whatever happened in your life could not take you out. And whatever challenge you are facing right now is not different than those. So you're going to overcome this too. So just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you're going to overcome this challenge.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. I hope that we will talk soon. You have a great day. Thank you for listening to this episode of Midlife with Courage. If you liked what you heard, I would love it if you would leave a review. Or even better, send a link of this episode to a friend. Until next time, take care of your beautiful self.